In this video, you will learn about graphing two variable inequalities. First, let's review the steps for graphing inequalities with two variables. First, you're going to solve for y so that the inequality is in mx plus b form, or slope-intercept form. Then you're going to plot the y-intercept and use the slope to plot more points. And then this is the part that varies. Then you're going to draw in the appropriate line. So if you have a greater than or less than symbol, you're going to draw a dashed line, and if you have a greater than or equal to or less than or equal to symbol, you're going to draw a solid line. Lastly, you have to shade the appropriate region. So if you have a greater than or equal to symbol, you're going to shade above, and you have a less than or equal to symbol, you will shade below the line. Now let's try our first example. So we're going to graph the inequality y is greater than 3/2 x plus 1. So in this case, it's already solved for y, so it's in our mx plus b form. This means that the slope, or the value for m, equals 3/2, and the y-intercept, or the b value, is 1. And remember that we're always going to start with the y-intercept. So I plot my y-intercept at +1, and I move using my slope, because slope is always in the form of rise over run. So I'm going to go up 3 and over 2 and plot my new point. Now, since the inequality symbol was greater than, this tells us first that we're going to have a dashed line. So I'm going to draw my line through this point using the ruler so that it's dashed. I'm going to draw my arrows at both sides. Also, since it is greater than, we're going to shade above the line. So if I look at my line, I want to shade the top part. So I'm going to shade in this part of my graph. Now let's try the next example. This example is also already solved for that y, so it's in mx plus b form. So the slope, or the m value, is -1/2, and the y-intercept, or the b value, is 3. So that means I'm going to start my point with my y-intercept at 3, and since my slope is rise over run, I'm going to go down 1 and over 2, since it's negative. So I go down 1 over 2 and plot my new point. Now, since the inequality symbol is less than or equal to, this tells me two pieces of information. First, it tells me that we're going to have a solid line. So I'll use my ruler to draw in the solid line. And then it tells me that since it's less than, that we're going to shade below. So if I look at my line, I'm going to shade everything below it.